Welcome to your weekly market review. We're here to provide you with a clear and concise overview of the week's most important financial events. Our goal is to cut through the noise and deliver actionable insights that can help you make informed decisions about your investments. The financial markets are often like a stormy sea, unpredictable and at times quite volatile. Calm one moment, turbulent the next. This constant flux can be unsettling, but understanding the underlying forces at play is key to navigating these waters successfully. This past week was a prime example, showcasing the market's inherent dynamism. Optimism quickly giving way to uncertainty, as various factors weighed on investor sentiment. We saw initial gains eroded by concerns over economic data and geopolitical events. Our goal isn't to predict the future with a crystal ball because frankly that's impossible, but to help you understand what moved the markets, providing context and analysis to make sense of the week's events. We'll break down the major events that shaped the market's performance, starting with a close look at the latest inflation data and its implications for monetary policy. Moving on to Federal Reserve updates and any signals they're sending about future interest rate decisions. We'll also see how the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the S&P 500, representing a broader swath of the market, and the tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite responded to these developments. But indexes only tell part of the story. They provide a high-level overview, but often miss the nuances. We'll spotlight specific stocks that experienced significant price swings, and ETFs that made big moves, either up or down, revealing trends beneath the surface and providing valuable insights into sector performance. These stories add depth to the broader market narrative, giving you a more complete picture. We'll connect these movements to the week's main themes, identifying the key drivers behind market behavior. Finally, we'll preview key economic data releases scheduled for the coming week, and highlight important earnings reports to watch next week, which could offer clues about the health of various industries. By knowing what's ahead, you can better prepare your financial plan and adjust your strategy accordingly. Let's dive in and focus on what you can control, your own decisions, and your long-term investment goals. Last week, the market found itself in a precarious position, caught between the allure of hope and the grip of caution. It was a week of mixed signals and conflicting data, leaving investors struggling to decipher the true direction of the economy. The latest Consumer Price Index report offered a glimmer of light, coming in slightly better than what economists had anticipated. This sparked a wave of optimism, fueling hopes that inflation might finally be cooling down. However, Federal Reserve officials were quick to temper expectations and remind everyone that inflation, despite some positive signs, remains a significant concern and a persistent threat to economic stability. This cautionary stance suggests that interest rates could remain at their current elevated levels for a longer period than initially hoped, effectively keeping the market's enthusiasm in check and preventing any runaway rallies. As a result, the S&P 500 ended the week nearly flat, reflecting the overall market indecision. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dipped slightly, while the Nasdaq Composite managed to eke out a small gain, driven primarily by strength in the technology sector. Investors are still placing their bets on the long-term potential of technology companies, but they are also exercising caution and carefully monitoring the broader economic landscape for any signs of weakness. Volatility was a defining characteristic of the week's trading, with many sessions seeing strong, early gains ultimately fading into weaker closes as the day progressed. This pervasive uncertainty kept many investors from committing to any bold or decisive moves. The majority of market participants are choosing to wait patiently for clearer signals and more definitive data before placing any significant bets or making substantial changes to their investment portfolios. This pervasive sense of indecision is what currently defines the market's overall sentiment, a constant tug-of-war between opposing forces, with no clear victor emerging. Both the bulls who are optimistic about future growth and the bears, who anticipate a potential downturn, are holding back, carefully watching and waiting for the economic winds to shift and provide a clearer indication of what lies ahead. As a result, the market's next move remains shrouded in uncertainty, leaving investors on edge and eager for more definitive guidance. Beneath the broad market indexes, a more granular picture begins to emerge. We need to delve deeper to truly understand the forces at play. Individual stories stood out, showcasing the dynamic nature of the market. Each stock has its own narrative, influenced by company-specific news and broader economic trends. Solar Flare Energy soared 15% after announcing a major European partnership, a deal that promises to significantly expand their market reach. This surge signaled strong and growing demand for renewables, reflecting a global shift towards sustainable energy solutions. Investors clearly see a bright future for this sector. The Global Robotics and AI ETF, BOTZ, gained over 4%, demonstrating the continued investor interest in cutting-edge technologies. This impressive performance came as key holdings posted strong sales forecasts, exceeding analysts' expectations and fueling optimism. This highlights the underlying resilience of automation and AI, even amidst broader economic uncertainties. These sectors are proving to be vital for future growth. Not all news was good. The market always presents a mixed bag of fortunes. Precision Health Diagnostics plunged 20% after disappointing clinical trial results, a stark reminder of the inherent risks in the biotech industry. This sharp decline serves as a reminder of the high-stakes nature of biotech investments, where success hinges on often unpredictable clinical outcomes. Tech and consumer discretionary stocks led the week, indicating a shift in investor sentiment towards growth-oriented sectors. This rally was largely boosted by growing hopes that inflation is finally easing, potentially paving the way for a more accommodative monetary policy. Defensive sectors like utilities lagged, suggesting a reduced appetite for risk-averse investments. This underperformance suggests that investors are becoming cautiously optimistic about the economic outlook and are willing to take on more risk. These sector-specific moves reveal valuable insights into where investors currently see the greatest opportunities for growth and returns, and, conversely, where they're strategically pulling back capital, anticipating potential headwinds or diminished prospects. The week's winners and losers, when analyzed together, tell a compelling story that goes beyond the surface-level headlines, offering a deeper understanding of market dynamics. Looking ahead, two events will dominate: the monthly jobs report and key corporate earnings. Friday's jobs data will show if the economy is still adding jobs and how fast wages are rising. Strong numbers could worry the Fed about inflation, while weak numbers might spark recession fears. Expect market volatility as investors react. Earnings from Omnimart and Streamflix will offer insight into consumer spending and media trends. These reports can confirm or challenge the broader economic narrative. Also, keep an eye on cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin and Ethereum's moves often reflect investor risk appetite. These trends add another layer to market sentiment. The coming week could set the tone for what's next. We've covered the market's push and pull, standout stocks, and what's ahead. Remember, investing isn't about perfect predictions. It's about building a plan that weathers ups and downs. Use this information as a tool, not a crystal ball. Your perspective matters. What are you watching this week? Are you focused on jobs data, earnings, or something else? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going and navigate the week together. Follow for our next update as the market story unfolds.